There may still be things that couples don't understand about each other, even after 40 years of marriage. I must be really lucky that my husband decided to bring up divorce on the day of his retirement. My name is Diane, I am 65 years old. I married my husband, who was my colleague at the time, when I was 25. And we have been married for 40 years. Our daughter Ashley is 35 years old. She married 8 years ago, moved out, and started her own family. So now, I'm living with my husband, just the two of us. The life of an old couple just continues with unchanging days. But I think it's not bad to spend such mundane days. My husband is about to retire soon, and it would be nice if we could enjoy a relaxed life together. That's what I thought. My husband is somewhat old-fashioned but gentle and quiet. Married for 40 years. I believe I have done my duty well as a good wife who follows her husband. I quit my job when I got married and lived modestly as a homemaker. That was normal at the time, and I never felt strange about this life continuing forever. It felt natural and almost like a duty to me to follow and trust my husband. It was because I loved him. Perhaps that's why I noticed that my husband was gradually changing. The small discomfort started one holiday. My husband, who was about to silently go out early in the morning, was there. "Oh, are you going out?" Yeah. So early in the morning? Do you have some appointments?" "No, I'm just going for a walk." "I see. Your breakfast?" "It's ready in the kitchen." "Don't need it. I'll be home late." He seemed hurried as he left the house. Normally, he spends holidays at home watching movies or reading. It was odd for him to dress up and leave at 8 a.m. Maybe he just wanted a change of scenery by going out alone. That's how I convinced myself at that time. However, after that, my husband often went out on holidays and returned late at night. He would leave early and not return until after midnight. The last bus had long passed. Where could he possibly be, and what could he be doing? "Are you going out again?" "Recently, it's been frequent." "Yeah. Coming home late today as well?" "Your dinner?" "Don't need it." His responses were curt. Moreover, he became colder towards me day by day. "Hey, what's this lousy meal?" "Lousy?" "It's your favorite pasta, salad, and soup. You think I can get energy from such a poor meal when I come home tired?" "It's no different from usual. If you want something else, just let me know, and I'll cook it." "That's not the point. Figure out what I want to eat." He had never raised his voice like this before. Annoyed, he left the meal untouched and went out to eat alone. I often had tears rolling down my cheeks as I ate alone at the table where my husband was absent. His strange behavior didn't stop there. "I have a business trip next week." "A business trip? You've never had those before, it's sudden." "Shut up. Don't nag about my work." "I didn't mean it like that. Just that it's unusual." "What do you know about my job?" "Enough. I'm going to sleep." Saying that, he turned away like a child and went to the bedroom. What a way to speak. After that, he avoided eye contact with me, and our conversations as a couple decreased. I tried to communicate several times by cooking his favorite dishes or giving him novels he might like, but in vain. "Hey, is anything wrong lately? You seem different. Being with you is just painful now." His words cut sharply through me, and the gap between my husband and me kept widening. Then one day, "Hello, oh, isn't this Ashley? How are you doing?" I received a rare call from my daughter. This might sound strange, but Mom, how have you been with Dad lately? Her tone was serious. Why bring that up all of a sudden? Well, it's hard to say, but Peter saw it. He saw Dad walking with a young woman. Peter is Ashley's husband. I recalled that my husband and Peter worked near each other. Has Dad been acting differently lately? Remembering my husband's treatment brought me pain. He wasn't the kind of person to be overly domineering or to say unpleasant things. But he had become a completely different person in recent months. Unable to bear his behavior and attitude any longer, I decided to confide everything to my daughter. That's awful. You should have told me if you were suffering. I can't show our daughter that we are not getting along, can I? What are you talking about? If you keep worrying by yourself, you'll eventually collapse from stress. Those words made me realize something. Indeed, I had been unable to sleep well at night recently, and my appetite had also decreased. Stress was already eating away at me. Ashley, thank you. Don't mention it. Besides, Dad seems pretty suspicious. Should we look into it? At Ashley's suggestion, I hired a detective agency to investigate my husband. In my heart, I was praying. I hoped that it was all a misunderstanding. I hoped that my husband was not betraying me. However, the results were starkly clear. He was having an affair with a woman 30 years younger than himself. The affair started at a bar he went to for socializing. He seems to have started dating a woman working there about 3 months ago. This coincided with the time I started noticing changes in my husband. So that was what was going on. The thought of my husband committing infidelity with a woman the same age as our daughter made him seem like a disgusting creature. After disparaging and hurting me, he was enjoying himself. Unforgivable. To betray a wife who has been with him for 40 years. Anger was bubbling up more than tears. This ignited the fuse of my revenge. First, I focused on gathering evidence before getting a divorce. If I could solidify the evidence, he would have no way to deny it. Might as well milk him for alimony while I'm at it. Thinking this gave me a bit of energy. Right. I should just divorce such a man quickly and enjoy my freedom alone. Under the radar, I had already contacted a lawyer and started preparing the documents for the divorce and alimony claims, as my husband's retirement day was approaching. Perhaps I should show some appreciation on his retirement day, after all. But somewhere inside, I couldn't genuinely say well done. I am grateful that he supported me all these years. But how can I pamper a husband who has betrayed his wife of 40 years? When I discussed this dilemma with my daughter, she said, "Why don't you just hand him the divorce papers on his retirement day? That would be quite refreshing, wouldn't it?" Indeed, that might make for a neat ending. Can I also be present during that discussion? What? You too, Ashley? Why? Why? Because I can't forgive Dad, obviously. You're not alone, Mom. Ashley, thank you. Thus, I decided to have my daughter with me when discussing the divorce. With my husband on his retirement day. On the day of his retirement, he made a brief round of greetings and returned home by noon. His overly confident and accomplished demeanor was somewhat troubling. What, Ashley's here too? Yeah, I am. My daughter responded curtly to my husband. However, he seemed not to mind and immediately addressed me upon his return. Diane, there's something I need to talk about. All right, what is it? It had been a long time since we had a conversation that felt like a real couple's talk. Thinking about it suddenly made me feel wistful. What was my 40 years all about? I have found a woman I love. I no longer need you. I'll give you $100,000, so please get out of this house. Excuse me? I'm giving you money. so disappear from my sight. Don't make me repeat myself. I'm going to live here with her, a younger and better woman than you." That's when my daughter interjected. "Wait, Dad, what are you saying?" "It's none of your business, shut up." "It is my business. You can't just decide something like that on your own." The two of them began arguing. I just sighed. Inside, I was giving a fist pump. My husband had brought up the topic I was going to initiate. How convenient was this? "So, you want a divorce, right?" "Yeah, that's right." "Then can you explain it to me once more in detail?" "Well, I suppose." With that, my husband began to talk at length about his affair, how they loved each other, and how he planned to marry her as soon as he got a divorce. Having him spill everything made it easier for me to proceed. After hearing it all, I said, "I see. So, you admit to adultery, then?" "Adultery? That's a bit dramatic. Is an old woman like you jealous?" "Jealousy has nothing to do with it. You just admitted to having a relationship with another woman while still married to me, didn't you?" "Fine, fine, if that's how you want it. Then I will be claiming alimony for that adultery." I showed my husband the documents prepared by the lawyer, but he seemed unconcerned. "I'll pay as much as it takes. I'm getting a retirement payment of $200,000. Wow, that's impressive. Right? I've dedicated over 40 years to the company. It's only natural." So that was why he was so willing to throw money around. Certainly, if someone gets a large sum like $200,000, it might make them feel more generous. "Now, you need to move out of this house." "Huh? You know, this house belongs to me, right?" "What?" Suddenly, his expression turned to panic. "So, this house was inherited from my parents. Why should I be the one to leave?" Oh, well. It seems he had completely forgotten that the house was in my name. How can you forget something that important? Our daughter said that, but my husband was completely dazed. Well, I agree to the divorce. I was thinking of bringing it up myself, so this works out perfectly. Next to the documents for alimony, I placed the already filled out divorce papers. No, wait. Let's calm down. The divorce was a joke, just a joke. Was that supposed to be some kind of bad joke? It's truly lame. A joke? It was a surprise. I wanted to surprise you. The pathetic husband, sweating profusely, was desperately trying to cover up, but it was too late. A surprise? Oh, how delightful. So, are there going to be a diamond ring and luxury cruise tickets coming next? Along with a bouquet? Come on, show me now, quickly. No, I mean, well. What about the affair? Didn't you say you were going to live together in this house? Starting tomorrow, a young woman will move in. Aren't you happy about that surprise? I've never heard of such a surprise. What? Oh, that was a lie too. You understand it was a joke, right? We've been married for 40 years. His insincere attitude made it clear that I no longer needed to endure this. Don't take me too lightly. I presented all the evidence of his infidelity. Photos of him getting cozy with another woman on the street. And the two of them entering a short-stay hotel. Photos of them walking arm in arm, looking cozy, told the whole story. The undeniable truth was there, and he had no choice but to concede. This, when did you? As if a wife of 40 years wouldn't notice your changes. At that, he fell silent. Perhaps the weight of the 40 years hit him. How did you find out? We're married, how could I not notice? I've trusted you for 40 years, but you haven't been looking at me at all. Saying that, I felt a sharp pain in my heart. I'll grant you a divorce. So, please leave this house right now. It's my house, after all. Right now? Yes. I'm not naive enough to let a stranger live here, let alone a betrayer. Wait, isn't this a bit hasty to just divorce like this? What are you talking about? Weren't you the one who brought it up first? That was. I don't want to complicate things any further. Can you just sign this quickly? I tapped the table with my finger. The divorce papers were on it. Seeing my cold expression, he must have realized it was over. Under my and my daughter's watchful eyes, he silently filled out the divorce papers. I wonder if it's normal to forget that the house he's been living in is under his wife's name. Maybe he's already senile? Well, it doesn't matter anymore. After that, my husband and I officially divorced. I received a fair amount of alimony, and we properly divided the property, including his retirement pay. The reason I waited until his retirement day for the divorce was because of this. I ended up receiving quite a sum from the alimony and shared property. After driving my husband out, I had the house demolished and sold the land. The location was good, so the real estate agent was happy to buy it at a good price. Even after deducting the demolition costs, a substantial amount was left. Perhaps my husband knew the market value of the land. The crucial fact that the house and land were under the wife's name had slipped his mind. I changed my mobile number and completely cut off any relationship with my husband. Hopefully, my husband, now over 65 and single, has a place to live without a guarantor. But that's no longer my concern. However, my husband tried to reach out to my daughter. Hey Ashley, where is Diane living now? Do you know what she's doing? Huh? Why should I tell you that? Don't say such a thing. I'm in trouble now. Here's the story. The mistress suggested buying a condominium after. My husband was struggling to find a place to live. She introduced him to a real estate agent, who offered 2 rooms at a significantly lower price than the market rate. One for him to live in, and the other to rent out for rental income. The salesperson pushed him, saying, "You'll recoup the investment in 5 years, and these rooms will always have tenants." It's a bargain only available during this campaign. My husband, swayed by these words, invested all his retirement pay to make the purchase. That salesperson intended to deceive from the start. The area has bad security, it's far from the bus stops, and the streets are too narrow and unpopular. The room has many vacancies, and with the years it has been built, the repair costs are also considerable. It turned out to be a poor quality property that no one else would buy. Considering the mistress introduced him, she and the salesperson were probably in cahoots. I have no retirement pay left, and I can't sell this house at all. He made this appeal with a voice close to tears. Well, Mom is living a carefree life abroad. I doubt she'll come back to the US. Please stop bothering her. She's really enjoying her life. Dad brought this upon himself, right? What goes around comes around. Watching Dad makes me really think I can't do anything bad. Well then. Ashley said this and then hung up the phone. You really said it, didn't you? Lying about being abroad. I had to say that much to feel satisfied. He's been saying whatever he wants for so long. I couldn't stand it. Maybe now he won't contact us anymore. Thank you. I feel relieved. No problem. Ashley said this as she poured coffee into my empty cup. Mom, what will you do now? I plan to live freely on my own. Diane, why don't you come stay with us? My daughter's husband said that while the two of us were talking. That's all right. Don't worry about me. Come on, Mom. My husband even says it would be better if you did. Yes, I really don't mind at all. But I don't want to be a burden to a young couple. What are you talking about? Mom, there's no need for reservations between families. My daughter gripped my hand tightly. I thought I had long since run out of tears, but before I knew it, they were streaming down my cheeks. Thank you. Mom, you're still young. You have to enjoy the life ahead of you. A new chapter in life has just begun. The kindness of my daughter and son-in-law touched my heart deeply, warming it gently.